The woman stood before the window admiring the downpour when suddenly she thought she saw a figure in the window across the street. She squinted, straining to see more clearly. Sure enough, a man was staring right at her. Her husband called out to her. She dismissed it as a tired mind playing tricks, and without giving it much thought, she returned to bed. The next morning, she sat on the sofa and turned on the TV, only to stumble upon a horrifying news report. A murder had occurred in the building across from hers. The victim was a young woman. This reminded the woman of the man who had been watching her through the window last night. She hurriedly told her husband about it. He went over to look, but there was nothing across the way. Not wanting to worry her husband too much, she didn't mention it again. But this incident had already cast a shadow over her mind. Walking down the street, she constantly felt someone following her. She'd stopped to look, only to find it was just a passerby. To ease her nerves, she slipped into a movie theater. But barely had she settled into her seat when a man entered behind her. Her gut told her this was the stalker. Terrified, she turned to get a clear look at his face, yet feared discovery, seeing only one shoe. Then the man suddenly leaned toward her. Intense unease made her feel like she was sitting on pins and needles. She immediately jumped up and ran out. After leaving the theater, the woman entered a supermarket. Just as she was about to pick up some items, she noticed a man staring in her direction. Thinking he was just a passerby, she turned and walked away. But she hadn't gone far before she saw the man following her. She cautiously glanced back and recognized the shoe from the theater. This terrified her. She was certain this man was stalking her. The woman hurried away, only to accidentally knock over a glass bottle. Hearing the sound, the man looked in her direction. She immediately ducked into the nearby fire escape. Peering cautiously through the window, she saw the man follow her. Just as she was at a loss for what to do, a supermarket employee suddenly called out to him. The employee told them there was a back door on the side. The woman rushed toward the back door and hurried away. Back home, she told her husband in detail about being followed. He found it hard to believe. He took her back to the supermarket. They asked after it with the surveillance footage. The footage showed that while she hid in the fire escape, the man was watching her from outside. But her husband suggested he might have been watching elsewhere. Unwilling to let her guard down, she took out her phone and snapped a photo of the man. After returning home, her husband had to work overtime unexpectedly, leaving her home alone. But the day's events kept her awake, terrified. She called her husband, hoping he'd return early, only to receive a refusal. After hanging up, she approached the window to see if the man was truly watching her from across the street. To her relief, the opposite window was tightly shut. Just as she was about to breathe a sigh of relief, a knock suddenly sounded at the door.